I believe mankind has lost the plot. As much as I try to limit my screen time these days, I found myself consistently scrolling on Instagram and finding videos that clearly have no purpose or intent rather than going viral. It seems like everybody is just looking for their next viral moment rather than creating something that's real to them and holds any type of substance or value to Earth. And one of the worst examples I see of this is videos like this.
So me and my situationship, he's going to be selling his laptop and game to buy me some breakfast. Girls, get you a man like that.
We're heading to GameStop. We are selling a computer and some games. If it doesn't sell, anybody who wants to buy, it'll be on Depop. This man decided to choose the $97 GameStop credit instead of the $57. Oh my god. And now we're at a pawn shop. He's trying to buy his fucked up laptop that can't even turn on. Oh my god. What am I doing?
I mean, the video is so clearly fake that she expects the viewer to believe that GameStop, stingy ass GameStop, is giving $97 for this shitty ass laptop and games that they didn't even put on the screen. And even worse, in my opinion, is that you'll have people in the comments reacting to the video as if it's a real situation, saying things like, girl, leave him, or just actually reacting to the videos as if it's real. But other than that, overall, there's just so much content being generated and shared now where everyone either looks the same, talks the same, has the same opinions, follows the same trends, and everybody is just essentially performing to the point that nothing feels authentic anymore. And I thought to myself the other day, and I want to get to the bottom of what's causing this inauthenticity and why have we gotten so comfortable consuming things that aren't authentic. So the reason I use that first video as an example is because it's not just the big streamers or influencers anymore. It's a larger majority of people online right now is sharing content. And it's not just unique to content though. We have actors now that fill their face with Botox and are unable to properly emote, people that can't hold real genuine conversations, people that go out to clubs and don't dance and then judge other people that are in the club dancing. And then worst of all to me is these like IRL streamers that change their whole persona or their entire character based on what's ever popular or what's ever going to get them the most attention. It reminds me of this particular song from one of my favorite shows of all time, BoJack Horseman, called "Don't Stop Dancing Until the Curtain Falls." And it's essentially about how the main character BoJack feels like he needs to perform his entire life in order to receive love or admiration from outside views, and it essentially comes down to the validation part of it. There's this societal pressure to perform that people are so scared of being themselves that they can't even sit down and truly discover what being themselves is. And at the heart of it, though, I believe that we have just created this machine that produces these unrealistic ideas that people try to strive for because society now rewards engagement and clicks rather than true authenticity, which is often rough, ugly, and a little bit unpolished. I don't believe that social media invented inauthenticity. I feel like since humans existed, we've always lied or exaggerated about our lives to feel better about ourselves. But I do feel that social media with the mix of capitalism have incentivized people to be fake, essentially. Everybody believes that they're one viral video away from changing their lives, and it causes people to pretty much do anything that gets them engagement or clicks. Now, this is a very extreme example, but there's this YouTuber or whatever he is, I think he's a streamer or something like that, called Will Touches Grass. And I'm gonna just play one of his videos for y'all to see so y'all can kind of see what I'm talking about.
I goon with my grandmother's ashes. It's true, bro. It's very true. But the first thing I want to say, I'm not a weirdo and I'm not a creep. Just listen to the full story, bro, before you judge me.
Now, honestly, I was mad as hell that I had to watch that video, and I hate that I'm probably possibly further spreading it out into the world. But it is a very good example of what I'm talking about, how social media and the want to be famous or get clout erodes people's brains just doing the most or saying the most outrageous shit on the internet. And in the video, he says, "Oh, I'm a weirdo," but you're not a weirdo because I don't believe that story actually happened. I believe you're a weirdo for making up the story, and the guys or the reward is going to be getting clout or getting people to mention you around what you did, you know? It's actually insane to me. Now that's just probably one of thousands of videos right now that you can find on the internet of people just saying anything to become famous or get engagement. But I think it points to a deeper problem on how that guy probably has like hobbies or something like that, that he's interested in. He could probably actually work towards or build a better life based off of those things. But he would rather do these type of things because it's quick, it's fast, and the audience is going to engage in it because it's something outrageous and shock value and things like that. But it points to my bigger point about how being authentic or being the real you and actually spending time and taking back time to discover what the real you is has become socially and economically disadvantageous. Now, to demonstrate my point, I made a little diagram on creator A versus creator B. Now, creator A, they create from genuine enjoyment of creating. They have uniqueness, they're true to themselves, and they don't feel the need to optimize based on what they see from what they're getting from social media. Now, creator B, this guy, he acts in motivation from external view, posts about 7 times a week, face controversy, and searching for identity through content. And my question for you is to think about which one do you think the algorithm pushes more or rewards more? It's, as we see time and time again, it's definitely this guy. So here, I feel like it's one of the major unintended consequences of fake content or inauthentic content in general. I would argue that creator A shouldn't care about the algorithm or what people have to say at all. But for somebody that's trying to make a living off content, it's kind of hard to say not look at the numbers because I feel like that is a part of being successful in this space. But I do believe that the people that are creating because they genuinely enjoy creating and bringing their ideas to life now look at this person that is doing all this inauthentic stuff that they don't have an identity, but they look at these people and they think to themselves like, am I doing something wrong? Which I believe then creates this trickle down effect of people looking at this creator B and thinking, that's the way they should be making content or that's the way I should act, because they kind of lose sight of where they started and now they're looking at how do I become successful? And that's their version of becoming successful is doing fake content, faking controversy, or doing stuff that works in the public eye or on social media to get clips and views and engagement and famous and all of that shit. And part of the reason I believe it's that way is because being unique and authentic is scary because nowadays most of the content is optimized for engagement and clicks. And again, I keep saying it's becoming viral. And I know I keep mentioning streamers, but it's so hard not to when it's so many examples just being thrown in our face daily. And I don't know if you know who Neon is, but I'm just gonna play the clip because it just came across my feed today, and I was just throwing it back, bro.
Hey, Julian, did you see the video?
No, I did not see the video.
Why would you ask?
Yo, why would you ask that? You're supposed to let me ask that. He gonna be on your ass. Oh my god, yo! I mean, he wanted to know, I guess.
He said no.
Realistically, no.
And
why did his sweat go dry?
That's bullshit. That's bullcrap, bro. What the That's fuck? Real, bro.
What is wrong with you?
Now that clip does have the Newman family, which I feel like they deserve like their own like psychiatric ward. But the reason I mentioned Neon in that clip is because I don't know if you guys were like on the internet back 6 years ago, y'all ever watched Illuminati, but Neon faked his death when about I think 2020, like when COVID was happening, and it's just so peculiar to me that like everything you see him do is clip farming. Like everything that he does is to get validation and to get get the public eye on him. It's no who is he, and that's why I think about a lot of these content creators, like who are they when the cameras are off? Like, is this genuinely y'all lives? But again, like this is not a deep dive into streaming culture like at all. This is just more of just a general consensus of how I feel social media is eroding the brains of just all of us, honestly. But to wrap up my point as to why I think there is so much inauthenticity in fake like content in general is because we live in a time where you can literally post a video and in an hour thousands of people can see it and react to it. And when you are basing your entire life and your entire persona as to how those people react to you, it's so much easier to now do things for shock value or create this gimmick is because you're doing it for the external validation. You're not doing it because you genuinely enjoy it. So now back to my other question. I feel like the more important one is that if there's so much inauthenticity, that word is like killing me, bro. If it's so much fake content, it's like, why are we watching? Why is it being rewarded? Why is it incentivized in the first place? And I'll be honest here, like I'm still genuinely trying to understand myself as to how we are consuming this content or why so much of this content is being consumed. And it's so easy to say that oh, it's just content or it's just for entertainment, but like, where does that line get drawn between real life and content? And when I was growing up watching YouTube, I used to see these videos, like the gold digger pranks and like the couples pranking each other or stuff like that. But it was like you literally like almost have to like lobotomize yourself to believe some of these goddamn videos. And I feel like now it's just like that type of stuff at a wider scale because now we have like streamers and short form content. It's like cooking everybody's brains. But it's like I remember one of my main thoughts being about these videos is like, how are these people living like when those cameras are off? But I'm not sure if everybody had those thoughts. And I think the problem is that when so much of what we consume is optimized for virality or engagement, it's harder to distinguish what is truly real. And I don't think it's a lack of intelligence or anything like that. I think that we have just grown to a point where we lack discernment, and whether that be purposeful or just unconscious, it is so blatant. So blatant. Life in 2026 is already overstimulating as hell. So I think that gives space for things like rage baiting or clip farmers or grifters to exist so prominently is because our brains are naturally not digging into everything we see. And you really have to unplug from the internet for a while to see that like none of it is like actually real life. But for a lot of people, social media is their reality. So it's much easier to believe and react to fake stuff as if it is real life because there's no sense of self or values outside of what they see on the internet. So there's this constant search for identity that gets outsourced to social media because so many people are looking for a way to be and looking for an identity that they go based off of what they see out of others, and now they go looking for validation from those very people instead of actually stepping outside and touching grass. But that's just my take on why I think it's so easy to consume. So I spent the entire video talking about what is fake. I wanted to give my view and my understanding on what I think alignment is, and I view authenticity as alignment. I'm not saying that I think every streamer or actor or creator is inauthentic. In fact, you can find plenty of examples of people that stick to their values and their truths. But for me, it's all about the motive behind the action. You can monetize yourself or you can follow trends, but as long as it's in a way that sticks to you and you are not doing it just because of the validation of strangers on the internet. Because in today's culture where we have things like AI and IRL streaming and optimized content designed to download ideas into your brain to make you think that that's the way to be, it's never been scary to be authentic or unique or true to yourself because we are all tribal beings at heart. We want to fit in and find a sense of belonging, even if that means sacrificing a piece of ourselves and denying how we truly feel inside. I think at some point we all just need to unplug from social media for a time and practice a sense of presence because authenticity isn't about just what we produce, it's also about how we show up and how we experience our day-to-day lives. Take time to actively engage and participate in your life and release the need or want from external validation because the world makes it so that we take our experiences and we compare them to the perceived feeling of how we think they should be. And an easy way to see or discover if you are living authentically is to ask yourself, is what you're doing, well, are you doing something because you truly like it, or are you doing something because you believe that the version of you that performs it is the version of you that will be liked or accepted or validated by society? But that's really all I have to say at that. And what do I know? I'm just a guy talking to himself or talking to my camera in my room. So, but I would love to hear if anybody has any thoughts or opinions, or just share that in the comments. And thank you for subscribing and thank you for listening. We'll be back with another video soon, probably.